Baba Vanga warned us, only these souls will be left standing in 2025. They say if you sit quietly long enough, just before dawn, when the world holds its breath, you can feel something strange in the air, a subtle knowing, like a soft echo of names not yet written, but already chosen. Not names of fame or power, but of souls tested by fire, destined to endure when others fade. What if I told you someone saw this coming long before we ever did? A blind mystic from the rugged hills of Bulgaria, Baba Vanga, once spoke of a time when the earth would tremble and only a few would stand unshaken. She didn't speak in riddles, but in visions. She called them the remaining souls. But who are they? And what makes them different from the rest of us? Could it be inner strength, a quiet clarity, or something far deeper? Something our noisy world has forgotten? Before we walk further into the stillness of her prophecy, take a moment. Like this video if you've ever felt different. Share it with someone who carries a quiet light. And subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom, where ancient truth meets modern life. This isn't just a tale from the past. It's a message for today. A reflection on what it means to endure, to awaken, and perhaps to be chosen. Stay with me until the end, because one of those names could be yours. Number 1. Who are the chosen few? Who are the ones who will endure, the ones who remain standing when the world seems to tremble beneath our feet? According to the enigmatic predictions of Baba Vanga, it is not the powerful, the wealthy, or the politically influential who will thrive in the coming shift. It is the quietly strong, the inwardly rich, those who live with hearts open to truth and compassion. These chosen few are not adorned in titles or recognition. Rather, they are the invisible threads that quietly hold the fabric of humanity together. Often dismissed as too sensitive or too soft, they are the dreamers who walk among us, the ones who cry at the suffering of others, feel the energy of a room before words are spoken, and long deeply for something beyond material success. A home for the soul. These are the empaths, the healers, the nature lovers, the ones who speak little but feel deeply. As Baba Vanga once described through her cryptic yet profound metaphors, they are the child who talks to trees and the old woman who feeds strangers, though her pantry is bare. Symbols of those whose spirit remains rooted in goodness, even in a world that often forgets the value of kindness. These images speak to something ancient and enduring, a type of spiritual clarity that doesn't need approval or proof. The Buddha once said, "Just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life," reminding us that our survival and flourishing are deeply tied not just to what we own, but to who we are at our core. When we look around today, it's easy to believe that only the loudest voices or the most visible accomplishments matter. But the people Baba Vanga referred to, the ones who will be left standing, are those who live in quiet alignment with universal truths. They often feel like outsiders in a chaotic world because their values are not based on status or competition, but on empathy, simplicity. In modern life, this can mean the nurse who comforts patients with a silent prayer, the gardener who speaks gently to the soil, or the mother who teaches her child compassion even when the world shouts otherwise. These souls are often misunderstood, but their strength lies not in resistance, but in their unwavering commitment to being kind, to doing what is right, and to protecting the sacredness of life in all its forms. They may be unnoticed by society, but they are deeply recognized by the forces of nature and spirit. As we move closer to the spiritual transformations some predict for the coming years, including 2025, it becomes ever more essential to ask, are we aligning with the values that will help us not only survive but truly live? This does not require grand gestures. It requires sincerity, presence, and the courage to be compassionate in an indifferent world. The Dhammapada offers this simple yet powerful teaching. Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. In this light, those who continue to love, to heal, and to remain soft-hearted despite hardship are not weak. They are the future. They are the ones building an invisible bridge to a more conscious humanity. So let us not dismiss the gentle ones, for in their presence lies our deepest hope. And to those who feel the world deeply, your sensitivity is not a weakness, it is your calling. Stay connected to nature, to your inner wisdom, and to the silent truths that move through all living things. As the storm gathers, it will not be the mightiest who endure, but those rooted in love, simplicity, and spiritual clarity. Number 2. The nature of the 2025 event. Let's talk about something that's quietly unfolding all around us, and according to the predictions of Baba Vanga, it's only going to intensify as we move into 2025. But here's the twist. It's not the end of the world in the way movies often show us. It's not meteors, floods, or fiery skies. It's something far more subtle, yet just as powerful. A vibrational separation. This means that humanity won't be divided by borders or battles, but by the very energy we carry within us. Some people will rise with the shift, aligning themselves with higher frequencies, energies of love, compassion, awareness, and deep inner stillness. Others will cling to lower states, fear, greed, disconnection, and resistance to change. And this separation isn't something happening overnight, it's happening now, quietly inside each of us. Have you been feeling more tired than usual, even when you sleep enough? Do you catch yourself forgetting simple things, feeling anxious without reason, or questioning the meaning of everything? These are not random symptoms. These are signs of the inner shift, the dissonance between your current state and the vibration that life is slowly moving toward. The old systems, both inside us and around us, are beginning to shake. The way we used to work, think, connect. It's no longer sustainable. And that collapse can feel scary, but those who are tuned into the shift will begin to experience something beautiful, moments of peace in the chaos, intuitive clarity, and a deep sense of being guided from within. Isn't that something worth paying attention to? So ask yourself, am I moving with the current or against it? Am I resisting out of fear or opening to change with courage? These are not philosophical questions. They are practical ones, because the answer shapes your future. This so-called vibrational separation isn't about judgment. It's not about who's better or worse. It's about readiness. Are you ready to live with a softer heart, a quieter mind, and a soul that listens before reacting? Those who are will find themselves more resilient as the world transforms. They'll stand, not because they're the strongest in the old sense, but because they are rooted in something unshakable, the truth of who they really are. And while this may sound mystical, think about the times you've met someone who just feels calm, grounded, even in crisis. That's not luck, that's alignment. In the same way, you can cultivate that inner stability. Start with simple steps. Spend more time in nature. Breathe more consciously. Question the noise of your daily routine and tune in to what brings you peace rather than what fuels your anxiety. This journey doesn't require a temple or a teacher. It only asks for sincerity and stillness. As Baba Vanga's warning implies, the souls that will be left standing in 2025 are not the ones who fought the hardest, but the ones who listened deeply, let go of fear, and moved in harmony with the higher flow. So, what kind of energy are you feeding today? Are you choosing connection over division, compassion over control, presence over distraction? Because the world is not ending, it's transforming. And the real question is, are you transforming with it? As we move forward, let's remember this. The greatest strength is not resistance, but alignment. The most powerful wisdom is not loud, but silent. And the future belongs to those who are brave enough to live with open hearts. Stay mindful, stay grounded, and trust the path that leads inward. Lesson to take with you. The world is shifting not outside, but within. Those who cultivate inner peace, simplicity, and love will find themselves in harmony with this new frequency. Don't fear the change. Flow with it. The time to rise is now. Number 3. Survivors will find safe zones. If you're listening to this, maybe you've felt it too. That quiet pull deep within you, like something is shifting, like the world is whispering a message that only a few are truly hearing. Baba Vanga, the blind mystic from Bulgaria, whose predictions have stirred the minds of millions, once spoke of a time when only certain souls would endure what's coming. A time, she pointed toward, 2025. But her message wasn't about fear or doom. It was about awakening. She said that before a great energetic transformation sweeps through the earth, some people would find themselves drawn to special places, safe zones not marked on any map. She didn't point to specific countries, but she described symbols, a spiral floating above a mountain, and a circle resting inside a tree. Mysterious, right? Some interpret these as real, sacred sites, like the Rhodope Mountains in Bulgaria, or the snow-laced peaks of the Himalayas and Andes. But Baba Vanga's deeper truth was this: the safest place may not be on Earth's surface, it might be inside you. She often said, to find the safe place, enter the space between two breaths. What could that possibly mean? Let's think about it. That space, the tiny moment between your inhale and your exhale, is the still point. It's where thoughts stop. It's where presence begins. This is the doorway to inner clarity, to silence, to awakening. Could it be that what she really meant was that the ones who survive what's coming won't be the strongest or the wealthiest, but the most present, the most conscious? If you're someone who's begun to meditate, who started turning off the noise and listening to the quiet, maybe you're already feeling what she was pointing toward. So what happens once you start tuning in? Baba Vanga said there would be signs, gentle nudges from the universe. Maybe you've already felt them. Animals showing up in ways that feel too meaningful to be random, repeating numbers like 111, 222, or 333 appearing on clocks, receipts, license plates. Vivid dreams where water turns to light, or an overwhelming urge to leave your job, your town, your old life behind, even if no one else understands why. Have you had moments like that? Have you ever just known deep in your gut that you're meant for something different, something deeper? Baba Vanga would say those are not coincidences, They're activations. They're the universe tapping you on the shoulder, saying, "It's time." These signs may seem small, but they point to something massive, an inner shift. And when enough of us begin to notice, to listen, to trust that inner voice, perhaps that's when the true safe zones begin to reveal themselves. Because maybe the places she spoke of aren't just sacred forests or ancient caves. Maybe they're communities of awakened people. Maybe they're hearts that refuse to be hardened by chaos. Maybe they're your own moments of clarity, when everything slows down and you just know what to do next. So let me ask you, what are the signs trying to tell you? Have you been ignoring a quiet call to slow down, to reconnect, to look beyond the obvious? And what would happen if you actually followed that call? If 2025 really does bring a great change, who do you want to be in that moment? Someone holding on to the old, or someone brave enough to step into the unknown with trust? In the end, maybe it's not about surviving as much as it is about remembering. Remembering who you really are beneath all the noise, and maybe, just maybe, the only souls left standing will be the ones who learned how to stand still. If you've watched up to this point, you're clearly meant to hear these powerful messages for 2025. Baba Vanga's warnings aren't just predictions, they're a wake-up call. Comment below with "Awakened Soul" to show you're ready to face what's coming with clarity and strength. Don't leave just yet. There's still more to uncover that could change how you prepare for the year ahead. Stay until the end and find out what it takes to be one of the souls still standing. Number 4. The Secret List. Among the many mysterious predictions attributed to Baba Vanga, one particularly intriguing message has emerged through a devoted disciple who claimed to safeguard a hidden list. A list of 12 significant birth dates. These dates are believed to align with what she referred to as the thread bearers, souls carrying the golden thread of spiritual continuity as humanity moves through turbulent transformations. The birth dates: January 5th, February 18th, March 27th, April 30th, May 14th, June 9th, July 23rd, August 2nd, September 19th, October 11th, November 25th, and December 3rd. Stand as subtle markers, not of superiority, but of inner responsibility. If your birthday falls among them, it does not mean you are automatically one of the chosen, but it might indicate a certain sensitivity to truth, compassion, and resilience that is needed in the world today. This notion invites us not to seek external validation, but to look inward and ask, am I living in alignment with my higher values? Baba Vanga's legacy was never about fear. It was always about preparation, spiritual awakening, and the preservation of kindness in a chaotic world. Whether or not our date of birth is on the list, we all have the power to cultivate qualities of a threadbearer: inner clarity, a commitment to doing good, and the courage to remain grounded when others are shaken. In a time when technology is expanding faster than our ability to use it wisely, and when division often feels louder than unity, her message feels more urgent than ever. It's not about mysticism, it's about awakening to what truly matters. The world doesn't need more fear, it needs more people who hold strong to love, empathy, and awareness. Let this list not be a source of ego or anxiety, but a gentle reminder that we are all capable of being spiritual torchbearers, regardless of the date we were born. Number 5. Final Prophecy. In the quiet moments before her passing, the mystic Baba Vanga left behind a final message that continues to stir the hearts and imaginations of those seeking truth in uncertain times. Her cryptic last words: "They will walk among ashes with light on their foreheads. Do not fear the fire. The phoenix knows what it is," hold more than just poetic weight. They hint at a deeper spiritual reality unfolding in our modern world. As we stand on the edge of social, environmental, and personal upheaval, her words speak directly to those who are willing to listen, not with fear, but with clarity and compassion. To walk among ashes is not a punishment, but a calling. It suggests that those who will remain standing in 2025 are not the ones who avoid life's trials, but the ones who face them with grace, awareness, and a deep inner light that guides not only themselves, but also others through darkness. This image of walking through ashes with light on one's forehead speaks to a time when the structures we once trusted, be it institutions, routines, or even relationships, may begin to collapse. In such times, it is tempting to retreat, to resist the fire of change and cling to the familiar. But Baba Vanga's vision encourages a different response. The reference to the phoenix, a symbol of death and rebirth, tells us that destruction is not the end. It is the beginning of transformation. The fire, she mentions, is not something to fear, but something to understand. It burns away what no longer serves, so that something new and pure can emerge. In today's world, where we're constantly bombarded by news of conflict, climate anxiety, economic instability, and personal burnout, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Yet, within all this noise, her message offers stillness, a reminder that even amidst destruction, light remains. To have light on the forehead suggests consciousness, wisdom, and a calm awareness that shines even when the world seems dark. These are not supernatural gifts. They are human capacities that we cultivate through mindfulness, compassion, and service to others. It means living from a place of inner peace, not panic. When we choose to be present, to do good, and to avoid causing harm, we align ourselves with this light. In Buddhist thought, this is similar to the idea of the bodhisattva, the one who stays behind in a suffering world, not to escape pain, but to help others find the path. Baba Vanga's prophecy echoes this timeless principle. The chosen few are not people with special powers. They are the ones who take responsibility, who remain grounded in love and wisdom when others are lost in fear. So, how do we prepare to become one of those who walk among ashes? The answer is not in stockpiling supplies or chasing hidden secrets. It is in quiet acts of daily courage. It is in listening deeply to others, in pausing before reacting with anger, in choosing honesty over convenience, and in learning to sit with discomfort rather than escaping it. In this sense, her prophecy is not a warning of doom, but a gentle nudge toward transformation. It reminds us that each one of us has the potential to be a light bearer, especially during hard times. The question is not, will I survive, but how will I serve? When we live with that question at the center of our choices, we become the very people her words describe. The future isn't promised to everyone, but for those who are truly aware, there is still time to prepare. If you feel this message speaks to your soul, comment "Chosen One" below. Stay with us until the end. What you learn next may be the very insight that helps you stand strong when others fall. What can we do now? The inner path forward. After hearing all these messages, from the quiet strength of the chosen few to the coming vibrational shift, it's natural to ask, what now? What can I actually do? The truth is, the world doesn't need more fear, more chasing, or more frantic preparation. What it needs are people who remember who they are. People who are calm in the storm, kind in the chaos, and awake in a world that often feels asleep. Baba Vanga's warnings were never about panic. They were about preparation, not for an apocalypse, but for a transformation. And that preparation doesn't begin out there, it begins within you. Here are 5 deeply grounded practices, simple, not easy, that can help you align with the energy of what's coming. These are not quick fixes. They are daily choices that slowly build your inner foundation, so when the outer world shakes, you can still stand tall. Number 1. Slow down and get quiet. In the fast-moving current of modern life, where our days are often dictated by endless notifications, deadlines, and a culture that equates productivity with worth, one of the most radical things we can do is to slow down and be still. In the rush of doing, we lose touch with simply being. Yet it is in that quiet being that we find our truest direction. To pause, even for 5 minutes a day, and simply breathe, deeply and without distraction, can gently lead us back to ourselves. This practice doesn't require a mountaintop or a monastery, it only asks for presence. Whether you sit beside a tree, listen to the wind outside your window, or simply close your eyes in your living room, stillness has the power to guide you home. Baba Vanga once said, "The answer lies between 2 breaths." And indeed, in that delicate space between inhale and exhale, we find the doorway to clarity, a return to what the Buddha called sati, or mindfulness. As Thich Nhat Hanh taught, feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor. In a society that encourages constant motion and constant stimulation, choosing to be still is not weakness, it is wisdom. By giving yourself the gift of silence, even briefly, you begin to soften the mental noise that distorts your path and reconnect with your inner compass, the intuitive sense of what truly matters. Stillness teaches us that we don't always have to chase peace. Sometimes we must simply stop running. Just like a muddy pond clears when it is left undisturbed, so too does the mind become clear when we give it the chance to rest. In that clarity, answers arise naturally, without force or panic. This practice of slowing down doesn't mean disengaging from life, but rather re-engaging from a place of centeredness. So many of us live from the outside in, reacting to pressure, comparison, and chaos. But when we slow down, we begin to live from the inside out, with intention and calm. In Buddhist thought, the concept of samatha, calm abiding, is the ground from which insight grows. A quiet mind is not an empty mind, it is a fertile one. In your stillness, you start to hear the quieter truths, that you are not your stress, your to-do list, or your fears. You are something deeper, more spacious. In today's world, where anxiety is often worn like a badge of honor and busyness is confused with meaning, turning inward is an act of gentle rebellion. As the Dhammapada reminds us, delight in meditation and solitude. Compose yourself, be happy, you are a seeker. And indeed, to seek wisdom inwardly, in the midst of noise and distraction, is one of the most courageous journeys you can take. So, as you move through the demands of your day, remember that it's not always about doing more, but about being more present with what is already here. Your breath is always with you. Nature is always around you. These are not luxuries, but lifelines. Start where you are. Even a single mindful breath can be a sacred pause in the storm of daily life. In a time when everything urges you to go faster, take the radical step to slow down, and in doing so, you may just find the path forward, not outside, but within. Number 2, choose kindness, especially when it's hard. This may sound simple, but it's one of the most powerful inner practices we can embrace right now. Let me speak to you directly. Anyone can be kind when the day is going well, when others are treating us with respect, and when everything is flowing smoothly. But life isn't always smooth. Sometimes we wake up already feeling heavy. Maybe someone misunderstood you, dismissed you, or hurt you deeply. And in those moments, the heart wants to close, doesn't it? We feel tempted to protect ourselves with coldness, with distance, or even anger. But here's the truth. It is precisely then, when life gets tough, that kindness becomes a choice of strength, not weakness. You are not being soft. You are standing in your highest power. As the old saying goes, compassion isn't weakness. It's your strongest shield. Because when you choose love over fear, when you offer understanding instead of judgment, you are refusing to be shaped by the pain around you. You are choosing to shape the world instead. Let me share a story with you. There was once an old woman who lived in a small village known simply as Grandma Lean. She had lost her husband in the war, raised her children alone, and worked tirelessly to keep her little family farm alive. People in the village respected her, but some mocked her too, calling her strange for the way she always smiled, always helped, even when others didn't deserve it. One winter, a young thief broke into her home and stole food. The villagers wanted to punish him, but Grandma Lean quietly said, "He must be hungry. Let's feed him properly, and maybe he'll never need to steal again." People were shocked, but the boy, seeing that kindness, broke into tears and eventually became one of the most devoted helpers in the village. You see, kindness does more than just comfort. It transforms. It invites people into a space where they feel seen, forgiven, and capable of change. Can you think of a time in your life when someone chose kindness over judgment with you? How did that make you feel? More importantly, how did it inspire you to show up for others? Now let's take this inward. The world is going through a transformation. There's uncertainty in the air. Politics, environment, technology, relationships, all shifting so fast. Many people feel overwhelmed, anxious, or alone. And when people suffer, they often act from fear. But if we respond to fear with more fear, we only deepen the wounds. If we want to be part of a better world, we must start by healing ourselves. Choosing kindness, especially when it's hard, is like planting seeds in barren soil. The ground might look dry, but those seeds remember the rain. Your small act, a soft word, a moment of patience, even simply listening, can ripple out in ways you may never fully see. You might not change the world in a day, but you can change the moment, and the moment is where life truly lives. So let me ask you this. What would it look like if you treated the next difficult person in your life with unexpected kindness? Not fake niceness, but real, grounded compassion. What would that do, not just for them, but for you? How would your heart feel knowing you met hardship with wisdom instead of reaction? Here is the lesson. Kindness is not about being passive. It's about being powerful in the face of difficulty. It's about choosing to respond from a place of inner dignity, no matter what the outer world throws at you. When you live this way, your presence itself becomes a teaching, a light, and others, often silently, will be changed by your example. So, choose kindness, especially when it's hardest. That's not just the inner path forward, it's the path that creates the future we all long for. Number 3. Create space from distractions. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you truly sat in silence, not just without noise, but without input? In today's world, it's so easy for our attention to be consumed every minute of the day. Between breaking news alerts, the endless scroll of social media, and the hum of digital chatter, our minds are constantly reacting, not reflecting. And here's the thing. When we don't create space in our lives, we forget who we are beneath all the noise. That's why one of the most powerful steps you can take on the inner path forward is to gently but intentionally create space from distractions. I'm not talking about running off to the mountains or turning your phone off forever. I'm talking about small, conscious choices that honor your well-being and make room for stillness, clarity, and truth to arise within you. Have you ever noticed how the more we consume, the less we feel? Sometimes we tell ourselves we need to stay informed, to stay connected, but what we're actually doing is filling every gap with something external. We stop listening to ourselves. We stop hearing that quiet voice inside that knows what we need, what we love, and who we truly are. And without that inner connection, we become reactive, easily pulled this way and that by the latest headline or trend, always busy but rarely fulfilled. Creating space from distractions is about reclaiming your attention. It's about making your mind a peaceful place to live in. Ask yourself, what are you feeding your mind each day? Is it nourishing you, or is it depleting you? When we take the time to step back, even just for a few moments a day, we begin to see more clearly. We start to notice the habits that no longer serve us. We feel our breath. We return to the present moment. And that's where healing begins. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Maybe it's as simple as starting your morning without reaching for your phone, or setting aside 5 minutes in the evening to sit in quiet before sleep. Even these small acts can be revolutionary. They are acts of care for your spirit. They are acts of resistance against a world that constantly demands your attention without asking what's good for your soul. So I invite you now to reflect. Where in your life can you create just a little more space? What distractions can you let go of, even temporarily, to allow something deeper to emerge? This isn't about rejecting the world. It's about choosing what truly supports your growth. From my own experience, I've learned that peace doesn't come from escaping life. It comes from engaging with it differently, with more awareness, more intention, more heart. And often, that begins by stepping back, clearing out the noise, and learning to listen again, not just to others, but to yourself. Let's carry that question with us as we move forward. What am I giving my attention to, and is it helping me become who I want to be? The answers might surprise you, and they just might set you free. If this message spoke to you, leave a comment with just 2 words: more space. It's a small reminder that even tiny steps towards stillness can make a big difference. Let's support each other on this journey. Number 4, honor your sensitivity. Honor your sensitivity, not as something to be hidden or corrected, but as a sacred part of who you are. In a world that often rewards toughness, quick answers, and emotional distance, it can be easy to mistake deep feeling as weakness. But when you find yourself moved by the pain of others, when your heart aches at injustice, or when tears come easily in the presence of beauty or sorrow, this isn't something to suppress or get over. It's a profound sign that your inner life is vibrant and awake. Sensitivity is the natural response of a heart that hasn't been closed off by bitterness or hardened by disconnection. It means you care, and in these times, that might be one of the most courageous things we can do. However, walking through life with an open heart also means we must learn how to care without crumbling, how to stay open without absorbing every burden as our own. The balance lies in developing a kind of emotional resilience that doesn't come from shutting down, but from grounding ourselves inwardly. In Buddhist teachings, compassion isn't meant to break us, it's meant to connect us. But true compassion also requires wisdom. If we constantly give without tending to our own well-being, we burn out. If we allow the pain of the world to overwhelm us, we begin to feel helpless and despairing. So honoring your sensitivity means learning to protect your energy. Not by building walls, but by creating healthy boundaries that keep your heart available without letting it be consumed. This can look like taking a break from the news when it becomes too much, spending quiet time in nature to reset your spirit, or simply giving yourself permission to rest when the world feels heavy. In our modern lives, many of us are juggling responsibilities that leave little room for emotional processing. Work demands, family obligations, societal pressures. It's tempting to armor up emotionally just to get through the day, but when we do that too often, we risk becoming numb or disconnected from our own humanity. Instead, treat your sensitivity as a compass pointing you toward what matters most. Let it guide your actions, deepen your relationships, and inspire your creativity. If you're someone who feels deeply, chances are you also love deeply. Listen with empathy and bring a quiet strength to those around you. The world needs more of that, not less. And so, rather than shaming yourself for your emotional responses or trying to toughen up, take a gentler approach. Practice mindfulness to notice your feelings without being swept away by them. Breathe. Sit quietly. Let your emotions rise and fall like waves, without judgment. Build simple rituals that help you stay connected to your center. A morning walk, journaling, time with loved ones, or meditation. Each small act of inner care is an act of strength. As you learn to honor your sensitivity, you begin to move through the world with a kind of quiet dignity. You become a person who sees clearly, feels deeply, and still chooses to love anyway. And in a noisy, divided world, that is a path forward worth walking. Number 5. Serve something bigger than yourself. Let me ask you something. What do you live for beyond yourself? In a world that constantly pushes us to chase personal success, recognition, and material gain, it's easy to forget that one of the most fulfilling paths in life is to serve something greater than ourselves. This doesn't mean you have to give up your dreams or stop caring for your own needs. It simply means expanding your heart. It means remembering that we are not separate islands. We are threads in a much larger fabric of life. When you lend a hand to someone who's struggling, listen to a friend without checking your phone, pick up litter at the park, or even share a kind word with a stranger, you are tapping into a deeper human truth, that service is not only a gift to others, it's nourishment for your own soul. You don't need to be extraordinary to make a difference. You just need to be present and willing. That's it. The moment you show up with sincerity, the The smallest act can echo far beyond what you see. As the Buddha taught, thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. This is the beauty of serving something bigger than yourself. The more you give, the more light you create, not just for others, but for your own path as well. Service brings us out of the narrow confines of me and opens the doors to we. It helps us feel alive, useful, and connected to something sacred. So what can you do right now, no matter where you are in life? Can you reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while, just to let them know they matter? Can you share your skills to support a cause you believe in? Can you volunteer your time, even if it's just for an hour a week, to help those who are struggling? These don't have to be grand gestures. Even small ripples can stir great waves over time, and when we stop waiting for the right moment to serve, we begin to realize that every moment is the right moment. Service isn't about fixing the whole world. It's about not turning away when you know you can make even a little difference. The inner path forward is not just about meditating or seeking peace within, it's also about turning that inner stillness into outer compassion. You begin with mindfulness, yes, but you continue with kindness, with action. Serving others allows us to step outside of our ego, and in doing so we discover a truth that many people spend a lifetime searching for. The joy and purpose are not things we get from the world, they are things we give to the world, and the more we give, the more we grow. So ask yourself, in what small way can I serve life today, not because I have to, but because I want to? Because I know that when I serve with love, I don't just change someone else's life, I change my own. And when we all begin to live this way, the world quietly shifts. It becomes softer, more forgiving, more united. As we move closer to 2025, the question isn't about who will survive, but how we choose to live. Baba Vanga's message is not a prophecy of fear, but a call to awaken, to walk with calm hearts, open eyes, and steady purpose through uncertain times. Whether you're already feeling the shift or just beginning to notice its signs, remember, the true safe zone is within. So take time to slow down, listen deeply, be kind when it's hardest, and, most of all, honor the light that quietly lives inside you. Because in the end, those who stand will not be the loudest or the strongest, but the most present, the most compassionate, and the most aligned with truth. If this message spoke to your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to the Journey of Wisdom. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming reflections and teachings. Together, let's walk this path towards stillness, clarity, and the deeper meaning of what it truly means to be alive. Until next time, take care of your inner world, because that's where the real transformation begins.